John Ulzheimer is known as one of our nation's most recognized credit experts. Having worked for 28 years in the credit industry, John has become one of the most prolific speakers about credit and the go-to authority on answers to credit-related questions. Credit Countdown with John Ulzheimer.
Hey there, this is John Ulzheimer. I am a consumer credit expert. I've got almost 30 years of experience in the credit industry. I have spent time at FICO, which is the company behind the FICO credit scoring system, and Equifax, which is one of the 3 recognized credit reporting agencies in the United States. So today I'm going to answer a really common question that I get from consumers, which is, can you ask your creditors to update your credit reports or add information to your credit reports? And so this is actually it's not a terribly common question, but when I do get it, it kind of tells the same story about the reason I'm getting the request, which is that a consumer has a relationship with a creditor, and it's a pretty good relationship, and they really want it on their credit reports, and so their credit reports and credit scores could possibly benefit from the information. And so the question is, well, how can I, as the consumer, almost force the reporting or the appearance of this information on my credit report? And if I can, how do I go about doing it? So here's the issue that you're going to run into. In the world of consumer credit reporting, adding information to a credit bureau database is voluntary. It's actually voluntary from both sides of the equation. So you have what's referred to as a data furnisher, and the data furnisher is the company that reports information. It's usually going to be like a financial services company or a debt collector that furnishes information. And then obviously you have the credit bureau repositories, and they're the companies that accept the information. So that's the Equifaxes and TransUnions and Experians of the world. And those are also the databases that your FICO scores and your VantageScore credit scores are based on. The challenge that consumers are going to run into is, because it's a voluntary system, meaning that there's no legal requirement to report information to the credit bureaus, and there's no legal requirement for the credit reporting agencies to accept any particular reporting, is that you can't force it to occur. It's entirely voluntary, which means the furnishing party is going to be able to choose whether or not they report accounts to the credit bureaus, and they're going to even be able to choose what credit bureaus they report to. So you may have an account with a bank or a credit union, and that particular bank or credit union may only choose to report to one of the credit bureaus, but not all 3 of the credit bureaus. Well, you can't really change that policy. You can certainly ask that they add it to your credit report, but you cannot force that they add it to your credit report. Another thing to keep in mind is, in order for any company to furnish information to the credit reporting agencies, they have to have an account with them. So in other words, I can't add information to your credit report about, some sort of maybe a landlord-tenant type of arrangement that we may have. I can't just add that to the credit bureaus because I don't have accounts with any of the credit reporting agencies. The best you're going to be able to do, there are some limited situations. Experian has a product or a service called Boost, and TransUnion has a partnership with a company called eCredible. And those 2 organizations, Boost and eCredible, will allow you to, it's called user-controlled information. You can actually, or consumer-controlled information, you can actually add information to your Experian and TransUnion credit reports through Boost and through eCredible Lift. And it's going to be things like your utility style accounts, so like your power bill, your natural gas bill. I know Boost lets you add like your streaming services to your Experian credit report as actual scoreable trade lines on your files, which is fantastic, because it's user controlled. You control whether or not you want to add it to your credit report, and B, obviously you're going to only add information that's in good standing, and so you kind of control it from that perspective. So those are some options for user controlled information that you can add. The only last option that you're going to have is to add what's called a consumer statement to your credit report. And this is something that it completely flies under the radar. People have had this right for many, many decades, but most people don't have any idea that they have this right. The consumer statement allows you to add a 100-word statement to your credit report. You know what it is? It was Twitter before Twitter was Twitter, meaning that it's this very limited space where you can add text to your credit report. So you can actually add, hey, I have a mortgage that's not on my credit report, or hey, I have a car loan that's not on my credit report. I don't want to oversell the value of this because there's a possibility that the lender isn't even going to see it and certainly not consider it, and it's not going to be anything that's scorable. But to the extent that you just really, really feel strongly about it and you want to add some sort of a reference to the information, then the consumer statement may be a good option for you. So there you have it. The reasons why your information across the three credit bureaus are not the same, and therefore why your credit scores aren't going to be the same. So if you have any other questions about this, drop them in the comment section below. Thanks a lot for watching. Have a great rest of your day. We'll talk again soon.
For more videos and credit tips from John Ulzheimer, go to www.tradelinesupply.com.